Hello. So today we're diving into the book Art of Possibility, and specifically around their really effective yet completely underrated solution to grading, which is to give yourself an A. Not many teachers do this. I don't think many people even are aware of this. However, I think it's a game changer. So explain what it is. There are a lot of links, a lot of references to other podcasts or YouTube episodes. So as always, I'll put them into the description. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. So I mean, it's not hard to tell from the episodes I've done in the past and the ones I will do in the future that I viscerally hate grades. I hate the grading scale. I hate the grading system. And I know hate is a really strong word. This was not supposed to be a ranting episode actually, because I was supposed to go into the art of possibility. But I mean, I guess that's where we are right now. Just the topic of grades manages to do that to me. But yes, I know hate is a strong word, but school is supposed to help the student, right? Like students are supposed to learn from school and to have the skills and the knowledge to succeed in life. So it's supposed to help them. School is supposed to help them. But just the grading system does nothing to help the student and to benefit the student, but all to help the education system. The people who want to see marks as being really, like universities, to see marks instead of having to go through folios and everything, but just to be like, oh yeah, you got to say a 95 out of 100. Well, that's better than an 85 out of 100. It's easy for them, but it's not helping the students. If you're listening to that going, I don't agree, you know what? You're valid. But also I've done a lot of videos about grades and how they're shit. Fight me, There's just a lot that I won't get into today. But it seems that Roz and Ben Zander from the Art of Possibility tend to share the same values and same perspectives as me. And the topic today, though, one of the chapters in the many beautiful chapters is the topic of giving an A. And if giving an A sort of sounds familiar, it actually is. Well, if you were at the very start of Ready to Redo, the birth of Ready to Redo, I think episode 3 or 4, we interviewed Rick Kitagawa, and he's read The Art of Possibility, and he was a university lecturer. So Rick explains more about his unique teaching style in episode 4, but for now, here's a little snippet.
So from The Art of Possibility, they talk about the idea of giving yourself an A. I would make it very clear that I grade you on 2 different assignments. The first assignment, which is, what does this success look like to you? If you were an A, write this as if you were an A student looking back at your A that you got in my class after the semester is over.
So in Rick's 2-part episode, there's also a lot more information about job skills, about mindsets that are so essential for students to learn now and in the future, and just a lot more handy information about his teaching style. For now though, let's explain more about what Rick means of giving an A. Giving an A is where we ask the students to tell us what their A is, for them to determine based on their personalized learning journey what an A would be like for them, because as we all know, and what I've discussed in my other videos about grading, is that everyone's learning journey looks very different, and everyone's achievements also look very different. For a student who, say, is a high achiever, has been for ages, their A would look so different from a student who is trying to, meet an achievement that's, okay, if I use numbers, a student who's at a 40 wants to get to a 70. That 70 is their A+, right? But a student who's already getting a 70, their A+ or their A would be around a 90. So that would look so different for each student. And so what Benjamin Zander says, because he did 25 years of teaching, he said a lot of students became obsessed with the grades. So he wanted to ask them, what does an A look like for you? Tell me in hindsight, as if you've already achieved your A, what you have achieved. So it was a really interesting concept where he got the students to write him letters about them looking back on the achievements that got them an A. So he asked them to, what did he say? So he said, lead each letter with, Dear Mr. Zander, I got my A because. I mean, you don't have to use those wordings exactly, but I got my A because I did this, I achieved that. I got my own A because I did this. And this concept is incredible. You can use this in the classroom, or you can use this as a tutor or any sort of coach, teacher, mentor. It's not just reserved for the classroom. And that's what I love about education, is that it's not within the classroom and that's it, because we all know that education is forever. It's always in our lives. And so use this tip if you find it helpful to ask whoever you're coaching or tutoring, what would an A look like for you? What would make you think that you've succeeded in this moment? Because, you know, you haven't succeeded fully. We're always growing. But in this moment, what would make you think that you got an A? And what I love about this is that Benjamin Zander doesn't say that this is just achievements. Like for his situation in teaching instrumental and teaching music, it's not just, I've perfected this song, but it's, how have I grown as a person? And I'm going to just take a quote from him. So he says, the students may, if they wish, mention specific goals reached or competitions won. But, I tell them, I am especially interested in the person you will have become by next, so he says may, but whenever. I am interested in the attitude, feelings, and worldview of that person who will have done all she wished to do or become everything he wanted to be. That, after I read that, I just had to, reread it again, because we never ask students. Like, we always grade their achievements, what they've gotten on a test, but we never ask them how they want themselves to be, what sort of humans they want to be, how they have developed themselves via their, regarding their well-being or regarding their worldviews or regarding their just self-awareness about themselves. Because this exercise is not just asking them to, list their achievements, but it's asking for a lot of self-reflection, asking them a lot to really tap into who they are and who they want to be. And this just goes back to the human element of education, which we tend to forget. It's, always about the things that you accomplish, the extrinsic things. But again, we never focus on the intrinsic. And I love that, how potentially a student might realize that I lack the confidence because I'm scared of making a mistake. I'm scared of being vulnerable to the rest of the class. And being able to say, well, at the flip side, by the end of this term, I will have had a better relationship with myself to know that I am not, I am my own judge. I am other people's, and their opinions of me will not affect my confidence. And by the end of this term, I have achieved. And that sort of thinking, even say sometimes it might not work, right? Like writing in hindsight might not work and it might sound a bit woo-woo, but I think just by getting them to be aware of where they're wanting to achieve and what things personalized to them they want to work on, just this act will get them to start thinking and potentially to, beliefs fuel actions, actions fuel beliefs. So if they start to believe, or if the teacher's aware of their insecurities about, what they want to work on, then the teacher will also provide a supportive environment for them to achieve that confidence that they want, to create a more nurturing environment. So it's not just on the student themselves, but also on the support network and everything. So that's a really simple, that's just what I wanted to talk about today. I think I do want to share actually a quote about grading. So the thing that I wanted to just say, it's quite parallel to what Sal Khan wrote in the book One World Schoolhouse. it took me a while because yes, no, I have done an episode about it. I promise. I've done an episode about it if you want to check that out. But the quote that Ben Zander writes here is that in most cases, grades say little about the work done. When you reflect to a student that he has misconstrued a concept or has taken a false step in a math problem, you are indicating something real about his performance. But when you give him a B+, you're saying nothing at all about his mastery of the material. You are only matching him up against other students. I guess I'll just leave that there because that really sums up a lot of my own perspective on grades. It's not showing what the student can achieve or what the student doesn't understand. It's just giving a holistic thing that compares a student to another student. And so giving an A is that alternative. It's not going to work in schools because, like, realistically, it's not going to work because unis need a standardized system, a grading scale, so that they can just easily take students who meet their quota or meet their criteria. But giving an A is an alternative for you as a tutor or you as a coach, you as a teacher, you as just anyone in life. Doesn't have to be someone in a professional role to teach, but just a parent, a sister, just anyone who will be teaching at some point in their lives and giving information to another person. It's to ask that person that you're helping out, well, what do you want to achieve? It's not about me, it's about you. And how can I help you achieve that goal, whatever goal you've set out to achieve? Okay, I am a broken record. I will stop now and I will see you next week. Bye.